Hey, Johnny.
Hey Dom,
How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice to have you on the line again.
Yes,
It's been a while since you and I have talked because you're super busy there, and getting our schedules lined up has been, how would you call it? A project management job on its own.
it's been tough.
Well, it's just because you guys are growing so fast and you're so busy, which is a great story, which is why I've been asking you to come on the podcast.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah, for sure. So, as you know, this is a group of architecture mill workers and cabinet makers, just like yourself, and different verticals. Everybody does things slightly differently.
Yeah,
Tell us about yourself and how you come to be on the Cabinet Maker Profit System podcast.
sure. Well, again, thanks for having me here, Dom. My name is Johnny Alvernaz. I'm the general manager and partner at Kitchen Makeovers. We specialize in kitchen cabinet refinishing and refacing. So refinishing is utilizing your existing cabinetry and making it look new again. We remove the doors and drawers and we spray an industrial wood coating on to make it look nice and new again.
Uh,
We can install new hardware, new handles and hinges, and get a new look to your kitchen for a third of the cost of a new kitchen.
uh,
And yeah, and refacing is where we reinstall new door and drawer fronts and utilize the existing boxes of the kitchen.
right. So
Yeah,
that's an interesting angle on this market because a lot of the people here make the boxes from scratch, but you found
exactly.
this niche, this opportunity in you're really just rejuvenating on site.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, neat. Kitchen makeovers. That's awesome. And I suppose I should tell everybody why I've been so eager to get you guys here. It's because in 4 years, you guys have gone from 300 grand to just over a million.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know? Do you know how impressive that is? From just the people listening, some of them are shaking their head and go, "That's crazy." That
It's
it's
been a journey, Dom. It's had its ups and downs, and it's been quite the process, and yeah, it's been really fun.
yeah. Now you're in Vancouver, Canada, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and that's a market that's really busy right now. Real estate there is
It's a hot market right now. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, so it's interesting that a renovation angle that is what you take, like a renovation and refinishing angle, is one that's doing
Mhm.
so well. Given that there's so much new building going on here, you're still finding a great market for people who want to do refinishing and refacing.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's great if people want to increase the value of the home before they sell their property, or they move into the house and they love their kitchen, but they're just not quite happy with the colors of their house or their kitchen.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Are you finding that a lot of your clients come from people that have just bought a new house and are saying, "Well, we don't want to change, can't afford to change out the kitchen, but let's change the color"?
I would say that is definitely a large portion of our customers. Maybe about half, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the other half?
The other half is just people that they're living in their house for a long time and they want to do a reno, and they can save some, instead of tearing out their whole kitchen, they can save some money by changing the color of their kitchen, getting some hardware, and then they'll put that money into getting maybe some new countertops. They'll go and get some stone countertops or whatever they want. They'll save some money from doing the kitchen. If they like their layout, it makes this is a really great option if you like the
Yeah.
layout of your kitchen already. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a couple things that got you on my radar. One of them is, of course, I met Jessica, your partner in the business there, when she was in a student entrepreneur competition about
That's
three
right.
years ago. And
Yeah.
it's funny that we're in this same trades industry.
It is very crazy. I can't believe it. I'm really glad that we've crossed paths, Don. This is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica's always been a very strong brander, I've noticed. And then I'm looking at you on video here. For those of you listening, if you want to see this as a video, please go to the YouTube channel. And for those of you listening as an audio, if that's good enough, just stay here. But you've got a very smart looking branded, is that a fleece?
Yeah. It's like a fleece jacket. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
fleece
couple
with
of
a
colors.
rain, sort of that rain jacket mesh with it, which you need in Vancouver.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that branding tells me a lot. Do you have competition in the industry? Do you have other companies that you're up against that do refacing and refinishing?
There definitely is competition. It's definitely an interesting industry. I believe this is a very fragmented industry. There's lots of mom and pop shops with the lack of systems.
Right.
And a lot of painting companies are now starting to do this in their off season. They say, "Oh, we do painting, and there's not a lot of exterior work, so let's start doing some kitchens." So there's a lot of that. Um, but I think we do it a lot differently than a lot of our competition does. Yeah.
It's just when I look at, I mean, this is pretty high level stuff, but I'm looking at you on the screen right now and you've got a nice branded jacket that says Kitchen Makeovers. That gives me an impression about your company that's different than, I guess, a competitor. So are you finding, when you say it's a fragmented industry, do you mean that they don't have systems where that tells me you have a system when you've got branded clothing like that? That's a clue to me that something's going right.
Sure. I think, yeah, it's a mix of a lot of things. I think there's a lack of systems, a lack of brand. Excuse me. Yeah. Lack of systems and lack of brand. Yeah.
Well, listen, the reason I asked you here today is because of this growth that you guys have gone through, which is absolutely phenomenal. I'm so proud of what you guys have done. And I like seeing it. I love just being on the outside watching it happen, because to me, this is fun. You know, some people like to tinker on cars. Some people like to tinker on homes. I like to tinker on businesses. So in this case, I'm going to get under the hood. You guys have gone from, like you said, $300K to about $1 million, a little over $1 million in 4 years.
Yeah.
And you attribute it to systems.
That's a massive part. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
What are the systems that and so the people listening are thinking the same thing, because they all have different businesses, but we're all in that same space. So I think what you're going to say is going to apply to all of us, regardless of what niche or angle we take on the cabinetry business. What are the systems that you've used to grow so quickly?
Yeah, well, I guess first it kind of started with operations. You know, the first thing that I did when I came on board was get a CRM system. You know, that really helped us get organized. The CRM we use is called Jobber. First of all, it keeps all of our client information together. We schedule our employee schedules. We schedule our production schedules for all of our jobs. We do our estimating on there, our invoicing on there. It also has a mobile application that our on-site techs have, where they have all the customer's information. They have their phone number, has the address. It clicks a button, brings them to their address. They can clock into different jobs on there, so it helps us with our job costing, so we can understand how efficient we're being on our jobs. So that was a huge thing. You know, just getting a CRM system was the first thing that helped us really get organized. That helped us, that allowed us to scale the business.
So Jobber is your CRM?
That's correct. Yeah.
You know what's funny about Jobber is that everybody I've met who uses Jobber is a raving fan.
I love it. Their customer service is just absolutely phenomenal. It's so easy to use. Yeah, it's great.
I have to be careful here. This is not an ad for Jobber at all.
Sorry.
I think I've reached out to the owner of Jobber to have him on as an interview, because I have a client now. Believe it or not, they're not in the cabinetry industry, but I work with all trades.
Sure, yeah.
They are a general contractor for strata property maintenance.
Okay.
How specialized is that? But
very specialized.
The owner there has been a fanatic about Jobber.
Yeah.
Just crazy fanatic, like just loves it and knows all the nuances, and like you said, loves the customer service. So it's always interesting when I hear people talking about the software that they're using and how that's helped them, build a platform for growth.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It gave us a platform for us to allow us to grow. So yeah. Very important. Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Was there something else in operations you did? Because the first system you said you looked at was the operations system.
Yeah. So it was implementing a CRM was the first thing, and then we went into building employment agreements for our employees. Specifying specific job roles, having very clear deliverables and accountabilities that outlined our company's core values and our policies. And that was like right off the bat, we were really organized, really professional with our employees that we brought on board, and I think that was really important in helping us produce our jobs the way we want them produced. First step.
So that would be a system for HR then. So you went from an operation system, and the next thing you did was an HR system.
I guess so. Yeah.
No, that's neat. I'm just, I guess,
I'm jumping around here.
Sorry, what's that?
I'm jumping around here. Sorry about that, Dom.
No, not at all. Not at all. You're just making me think of, I've got my coach's hat on, right? So I'm asking questions that it's all right. You jump around as much as you like. I'll bring you back. But
awesome.
The HR thing, one of the challenges that I run across a lot is that it's hard to get to do an employee review. Like, it's just hard to find the time. And then if the guys on the floor, the people on the floor, aren't used to sitting down with the owner, the boss, it can be
Yeah.
really stressful for them. So how do you make that normal in your company?
Well, everybody we brought on board has kind of that's the way we've done things since everybody's been on board, basically. We do a quarterly review, which is a lot. I think some people might say that might be too much, but I'm not sure. That's the way we do things here. And we have what we call a competency model. So a competency model will outline all of the skills and tasks that need to be understood by the employee. And we kind of go over that in our review with our employees. So, for example, we have a prep technicians. Their role is to basically prep the kitchens in preparation to be sprayed for the new color. And we need to make sure they understand how to understand and execute some of their stuff they have to do. So, do they know how to prep the ceiling? Do they know how to prep their walls, windows, and backsplash? And we'll get so we'll review that in their review with them every quarter, and just let them know where they need improvement, where they're doing really well on, where they need improvement, and something to talk about for next quarter. We said these are the things we need to improve on, and see how they did for next quarter. Yeah.
So this is one of the questions that listeners might be having is, after every review, do they ask for a raise?
It is based on performance, and that's what we say. If we think that their skills have improved, and if they've improved the things that we talked about in the previous review, then it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that, that's one of the things that happens. And so we have to be aware of it as we do this review. And at times I've heard people say, look, I don't want to do a review because we can't really afford to give raises, or we don't feel like we can afford to give raises.
Sure. Yeah.
But, the one thing I have learned in business is that there's a secret. And the secret is that if I don't show up for work tomorrow, if I take half a day off, the company's still going to run. If my employees don't show up, I am in trouble.
Yeah, big trouble for sure.
And so it's worth it to pay people well to stay, and they have to be doing good work. So that's why we do the reviews, right?
I would agree.
It's worth it to pay people to stay. So maybe a raise is worth it. It doesn't have to be $1,000 a month extra. It can just be 50 cents an hour.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But if they're meeting the expectations, and then they're not, in your case, if they're spray technicians, I guess it's pretty easy to talk about the competency or what they need.
It is. Yeah, exactly. And like I said earlier, sorry, go ahead, Dom.
Yeah, I was going to say, now this might be catching you a bit off guard, but what are some of the competency things you're looking for in, for instance, a spray technician? Because everybody listening will have some element of finishing in their manufacturing process. What are some of the things you look for out of a good finisher?
Obviously their quality of work, and that's a very broad thing to say, but we do job costing on every single job we do. And if we see that if there's a lot of callbacks on a specific person, that's a metric we track, callbacks for every spray technician. So that's one thing that we see, that we have so they're not doing a bunch of callbacks. And just making sure that they're following their checklist. We have like an end of day checklist on a completion day. So making sure that they're going through that step by step. And, if they're constantly missing stuff, that would be something we would talk to them about.
Yeah.
Or, just specific ways to do things the way we want them done.
Interesting. And one of the things people might not know is that you have a very unique company in the trades industry. And I understand from speaking to Jessica, 97% female staff.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to say unskilled, but not skilled in your industry. Like, they don't come to you as finishers. You're not getting them out of the trade school as finishers.
That's exactly right. Yeah. As we were talking earlier, Vancouver was a very hot market and a very hot labor market. So it was nearly impossible to find people to work, really. So we had a lot of success finding people that did not have any skills in our industry. Typically came from the fast food industry, grocery industry, stuff like that. And we had a really great training program to get them up to speed quickly, following the systems and processes to the Kitchen Makeovers way, and then train them based on that. And that's just kind of what happened.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What a brilliant way to do things. I mean, you've come into this industry, a very well-established industry, and you've grown by using technology and people so far. Actually, I guess we've only hit 2 of your systems. Looking at my notes, operations and HR, but you said there were 4 systems. What are the other 2?
I guess just circling back a little bit, just to add on to our operations. I kind of talked about a little bit already, but having SOPs, standard operating procedures for everything that we do here at Kitchen Makeovers. We want it done the Kitchen Makeovers way, and we want to make sure all our staff understands that. And that will go into our training program, our reviews, as we kind of talked about already. But yeah, we had to build, develop, and document our SOPs the way we wanted things done. This is an ongoing process that continually gets updated. We like to call these live documents. So our employees will, help us add to it if they have an idea of how we can improve a system or improve a way of doing something. We add to it. I guess another app that we use to help document and track all these things, we use an app called Process Street. And basically just a way we can document all these things on an application, and our staff can pull it up and see how to do things properly. And yeah, it's just a way for us to document our processes.
So what's the app called? Process Street?
Process Street, yeah.
How do you spell the first word?
PROCESS.ST.
So the American listeners will be saying Process Street.
Okay.
There you go. Process.
Potato.
Potato. That's Canadian speak, right? Process.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's something that we talk about in coaching and in leadership in general, is moving from being a hero to a leader. And there might be an aspect of that here. When somebody comes to you and says, Johnny, how do I do this? XYZ, whatever it is. Do you point them back to the app, or do you go and show them?
We definitely our rule of thumb is to, look at the SOP first. And if you have questions, come to us. And something we're trying to implement is come to us with 3 answers. If you still can't get something, come to us with 3 ways how to do it. And then a lot of times that kind of frees our time. So, we're not going and mending to, tasks that we feel like our employees can manage themselves. And we want them to try and learn to manage themselves.
That's just beautiful. I'm so happy to hear you say that.
But we're always there for support when needed, of course.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear you say that, because what happens in that case is, do they come to you a second time with the same question?
Most likely not.
Yeah. So let me stop for a second and talk to the people listening to this. If you find yourself trying to get work done in the office, trying to do estimates, job costing, make sure the change orders are submitted, whatever your particular jobs are as the owner, and you find yourself getting interrupted by your team so that you can answer questions for them, then you're in what we call hero mode. I am here to answer your questions because I'm the only guy that knows the answer. That's hero mode. What Johnny's talking about, what he and Jessica and Tanya put in place, is a process to be more leader focused, more management focused. So you've got a standard operating procedure which lives on this app called Process Street.
Yep.
And when somebody comes to you with a question, you point them back to that and say, go find the answer, go review what the question is there, and then come back to me with 3 solutions.
Exactly.
And then, you go through that conversation. But what they also learn is, don't go bug Johnny, because he's just going to tell me to go look at the SOP.
Pretty much, exactly.
And so they bug you less and you get more work done, and they take ownership of their role.
That's exactly right.
That's pure gold, man. That is great stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom.
Pure gold. I love it. And I'm so happy that you're doing that, especially at you guys are, I think what you've been able to do is use a new way of managing with the old tried and true standards, and you put them together. You've got technology layered over top, and that's why you've got this fantastic growth rate.
I think that might have something to do with it.
With envy.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell me more. What else can I learn from you?
And then I guess just continuing back on our operations, building a production plan is really important. So that's something we review with our production manager. So it has our weekly revenue and gross profit targets that tie into our monthly, quarterly, and yearly goals that our production manager is responsible for reaching. So yeah, that's another thing we have in place. Yeah.
How do you communicate that? Do you guys have meetings with the team?
Yes, so we have weekly GSR meetings, what we call them. So goal setting and review meetings.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a meeting with I have a meeting with Jessica, our production manager, and Tanya, our sales manager, once a week, and we talk about those things. We go into the revenue plan and talk about the weekly revenue targets, gross profits targets, and our targets. and to see if we're on track to meeting our goal. And if not, we can talk about how we can achieve them and what we need to change and build a plan for next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one meeting you have a week. It's called the weekly GS&R, goal setting and review.
Yep.
How long does that meeting take between the three of you?
It's actually one-on-one. So we have it. So it's me and Jessica, and then me and Tanya, two separate meetings. And that's about anywhere from half an hour to 1 hour.
Perfect. So nice and fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And at the end of, I interviewed somebody the other day who just had a great way of looking at things. Her name's Danielle Putnam. And she's actually the president of the Women in HVAC Association down in Florida.
Oh, cool.
And she said it so well. She goes, meetings are for decision making, right? Not for visiting.
Exactly.
It was just such a great thing to hear. So you get through that meeting quickly. Do you mind telling us listeners what kind of meeting flow and rhythm you have inside the company? So you've got one weekly GS&R, goal setting.
Yep.
What are some other meetings you guys have?
We have a daily touch point with our production staff that Jessica, our production manager, will do with production staff, like I said, kind of going and talking about the jobs in detail, a quick detail, maybe like 5 minutes, talking with every crew lead and going over the stuff needed for that job. And then what else we do? We do a monthly meeting. Well, we'll go over our financial stuff. So we'll go over our profit and loss sheet and our cash flow plan and do our cash flow our projections. And that's a monthly meeting we do.
How long does that monthly financial meeting take?
That's a little longer, I would say. It's about an hour to an hour and a half, maybe.
Right. Did you know, it's funny you say that. So I have free downloads on the website, and one of them is called the How to Run the Finance and Forecast Meeting.
Oh, cool.
And then I include an agenda and the script for the owner of the company, how to script it, and then who to find what. And I
think I need to download that too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, just go to the website, Cabinetmakerprofitsystem.com. But I'll send it to you after. But it's one of the most popular downloads because I think people don't know how to run, or at least they want to see another way of running that finance and forecast meeting between partners or with their key staff. And it's nice. When you have a script and you have an agenda, you just hand it out. You know what to say, who to ask for what. And then there's actually a piece at the end that we call Profit Lab. It's at the very end of the meeting. And Profit Lab is where we go around the table and say, Johnny, where are we losing money or time? And what are 3 things we can do to fix it? And everybody around the table does that once a month. And just
that's awesome.
Every month you just up higher. Yeah. So I'm glad to know you do that. So those are the 3 kinds of meetings you got: the weekly GS&R, the daily touch with production, and that's run by your production manager.
That's right. Yep.
And then the monthly one-on-ones. Where do you do training? How do you train your team?
So we have we do training in shop. So we have a shop that we do some training with staff, and then we also do on-site training.
Gee,
yep.
You guys go. Who's got time to sell?
What's that?
Who's got time to sell?
Tanya's a sales manager, and she's amazing at selling. She's great.
Well, she started the company, right?
That's correct. Yeah, she started it in 2009.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then just in the last couple of years, you guys have put all these systems in place and really elevated the game.
Yeah. Yep. I came on board in 2016, early 2016, and we've just been really focused on taking all the information that Tanya said, building systems, documenting them, and building responsibilities and passing those off onto other staff so we can allow the company to grow and scale. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So I took you off your game there, and we were talking about the systems you use to grow so quickly.
Sure.
Talking about operations, and you've got quite a few operational tips for us.
Yeah.
You talked about HR. What are some other ones?
I guess maybe just a quick little more about HR, I guess. When we look to go hire somebody, the first thing we'll do is we'll really document our ideal candidate of the person we're trying to hire. So really thinking in detail who the person is we want to hire. We'll think about the abilities, preferences, and abilities that this person may have, and then build a job ad specifically for that person. And then we'll have a conversion call to call that person and quickly talk to them, see what their situation is, ask them some questions, talk to them about the job in a little more detail, and ask about some deal breakers, see if they have a driver's license and a car. There's no point of bringing them in for an interview if they don't have some of these things. So, and then we'll have a formal interview with them.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's a little more about what we do for hiring and HR, I guess.
So you have a multi-step process. Somebody applies for your job, and where do you post? How do you get people to apply?
We've had some great success with Indeed. It's like a hiring platform, I guess, in Canada. I'm not sure if it's in the States as well. But we also have a program that we offer to our staff. So if they have somebody that they think might be a good candidate, we offer a bonus program if they make it past those 3 months. And we've had really great success with that as well.
Smart. Yeah. And so that's how you get that initial person, and then you take them through a multi-step interview process. So first a phone interview.
Yeah, we call it a conversion call. It's a quick 5-10 minute conversation on the phone. And then if we think it would be worth it for them and us to bring them in for an interview, we'll bring them in for a formal interview.
Isn't it amazing what you hear on that first phone call?
It really is. Yeah, it can be.
It's tragic. It's tragically funny, I suppose.
It is.
And then I know why this person's looking for work.
Yeah, thank God I didn't bring them in for an interview.
Yeah, waste all that time in your office of having
to
come in, sit down for an hour, etc.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's good. So you've got that on your HR system as well. So HR, what I've heard from you then is that you create a on paper your perfect employee, but you also created roles and job responsibilities and outlines that you expect them to follow.
Yep.
And then you know how that's going to match with Jobber and what their role is going to be within Jobber to get the project done.
Pretty much, yeah.
Then you have a training system and a feedback system where you're giving them reviews. How often do you guys do your reviews?
We do a quarterly review, like I said. I think so. We review them every quarter. Yeah, it's a quick one. We review the competency model that we go over with them.
Yeah. Wow, that's excellent. Well, and I mean, obviously, it's working for you guys. Okay, tell me more.
And then we just like to do a quarterly culture event with our employees. So we just went. We did a big team gathering and we went curling together, which was really awesome.
How Canadian.
I've never been curling before, but oh man, it was so much fun. The team had fun. We were all in onesies and we went curling.
What do you mean onesies curling?
It was like a pajama. It was like a pajama party. It was absolutely hilarious. We had like a professional photographer there, and we had like a photo booth. And oh man, it was fun. It was like it was a holiday party actually for this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun. And then in the summer we went jet skiing. We just like to get together and celebrate our wins with the team. We like to do that every quarter with our staff.
Yeah, that's an important, especially when you're looking for referrals from staff for other people.
Yeah,
you don't do it for that reason, but that adds, I'm sure, to the.
For sure.
Why wouldn't you work here, and what makes Kitchen Makeovers different, right?
Yeah, people love. Well, I think our staff, they love working here. They really enjoy, coming in, the people that we have on board here, and then the culture we have here.
Yeah, great. Wow, you've nailed so many things really well. What about so financial reporting system? I guess you talked about there in your monthly financial meeting with the executive team, right? The leadership team.
Yep. So a little more about financial management or financial reporting. I think it's really important for us to build a budget. I just started doing that over the past couple of years. My first time doing it, and that's super important. It builds the roadmap and plan for your year. So we build this line by line, and a lot of thought goes into every line, what we're going to spend and why. And we do that during our strategic planning week. So we do that a week in December, like the first or second week in December, and we go through in detail our budget, our cash flow plan, our sales plan, our revenue produce plan.
Wow.
Yeah. And we kind of do that, like I said, during our strategic planning week.
What system or format do you follow for strategic planning? Are you using Harnish's Scaling Up, or are you using Wickman's EOS? Which one?
Don't use any of those systems specifically.
Okay.
but we go and review our year, the previous year in detail. And we do that every quarter as well. So we do like a quarterly review as well. And then we also go through a SWOT analysis. So we go through a SWOT analysis of every area of business. So sales and marketing, human resources, revenue, operations, and just identify, strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And that goes into when we build our plan for the year. We think about those things. Those are top of mind as we build our plan for the following year.
Yeah, great. Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you is a really proactive approach to building the business. So you're looking at budgets, you're anticipating where your opportunities are and where some of the challenges might be, but you're going into it proactively. So you're doing everything you can to run the business proactively instead of reactively.
Exactly.
Reacting is so hard.
It's we try and be very thoughtful and plan as much as we can to avoid that. But of course, there's still things that happen that you have to react to, but we try and avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah. Of course. But you know what? They always say a plan never faces, combat with the enemy. Like when you approach the other side, plan hits reality and reality hits back. But if you don't have a plan at all, then you don't have anywhere to go, right?
Kind of just floating. Yeah.
Yeah. It's more important to have a plan. We always talk about that in business as well. People talk about doing business plans. In my early days as a business coach, people said, "Hey, Dom, you're really good at this. Can you help us with a business plan?" And the answer is no. No. The important part of having a business plan is making the business plan. It's not having a business plan. It's
going through that process. Exactly. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So that's 3 systems. And then you mentioned before you have a sales and marketing system. Tell us a couple of the highlights of your sales and marketing system, without giving away any of the secret sauce.
Sure. Well, I think first having building and identify our sales process was really important, and having really thought out a sales process, the stages that a customer and our sales manager will go through during the sales with the customer. So that was really important. And we use another app called Pipedrive that really helps our Tanya, our sales manager, go through our sales process and make sure she's really organized and keeps all of her clients and knows what stage every client's on, when to follow up, and what jobs close and what she needs to follow up on. So that helps a lot. Pipedrive was a great tool, which also syncs with Jobber. So
I was going to say, if Jobber's a CRM, I thought it would have something like that, but I guess the bolt-on is Pipedrive then.
Exactly. It's just it really is specified for sales and just having specific stages in a pipeline. Yeah. So and all of our leads go into Pipedrive. So like if we get somebody answers the phone, they enter it right into Pipedrive. If we get an email lead from Homestars or from our house or our web chat on our website, it automatically gets uploaded into Pipedrive as a lead. So all of our leads get funneled into our leads in Pipedrive, and it's just a central place for all of our leads to go into and for Tanya to follow up with on. Yeah, which makes it a little bit easier. Yeah.
So the beautiful part about that for people running companies is that you always know where to go to get the info if you need it, instead of chasing your salesperson or your estimator. What job are they working on? Who do they see today? You can always go look, and you never have to feel like you don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
By having systems like this.
Exactly. So that's a huge help. It keeps us really organized, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then same with our production, we have our sales plan, which is really important. So it just has weekly targets that tie into our monthly, quarterly, and yearly goals. So it includes our weekly leads, our estimates, number of jobs closed, and dollar amount closed. Dollar amount closed. So that's really important. Just making sure we're following up on our goals, and so we can reach our yearly goals. Is how we've been able to go from 300,000 to 1 million by making sure we're meeting our targets and our goals.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where you guys go next. I mean, with this kind of growth rate, it's pretty impressive. I know that there's nothing but green runway ahead of you.
Thanks, we're really excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. If people want to get in touch with you and learn more about Kitchen Makeovers, or get in touch with you and ask some questions, how would they do that?
Sure. Well, our website, first of all, is www.kitchenmakeovers.ca, or Instagram at KM Vancouver. So those would be two avenues to get in contact with us at.
Yeah. Wow. Instagram.
Yeah.
You're so
Yeah,
modern, man. I barely got Facebook and you're already on Instagram.
Yeah, I try and stay away from that stuff, but I need to do it some more, I think.
Well, I guess you have to be where your clients are.
That's right.
And if your purchasers are, would you say that your purchasing decision maker is the lady of the house or the couple together, or what would it be?
Definitely the lady of the house has the interest, but then I think typically it's a couple decision, but we're usually dealing with the lady of the house as far as like choosing colors and the handle styles and like that kind of stuff.
Those design components. The reason I say that is because I understand Instagram is much more female-oriented visual platform for those kinds of that kind of imagery, right? For those kind of pictures.
Sure.
It's so important to be where they are looking.
Yeah, it's really great to kind of show exactly what we do. You know, a lot of people don't realize that what we do is that they can do that. You know, they didn't realize they could paint their cabinets and make them look like they do. So it's really great area for us to showcase our work and showcase the job stages and show our customer or our potential customer what goes into a job and what a job can look like. So we have tons of before and afters on there. So it's really great.
Yeah, before and afters are the kind of the fun stuff of the industry, aren't they?
Exactly, for sure.
Well, Johnny, thank you so much for joining us today, and I appreciate having you talk to our audience. You know, you're a young man who's got lots of runway in front of you, and you've done some amazing things just by sticking to the basics. I mean, you're just sticking to the systems and being diligent about keeping them in place. And
Sure.
Thank you for joining us and giving us those tips. I think all of us have learned a lot today.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks for having me here, Dom. It's been great talking to you.
All right. Have a great day, Johnny. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll talk to you all soon.
Bye.